Hey all, I just wanted to show you guys my new coin, a 1927 Saint-Gaudens Double Eagle. Start off just looking at that beautiful 0.9675 ounce of gold. Just absolutely pretty. This is an MS62 sample. I'll be sending it away to get graded, so this will be the last time anybody ever touches it, and then it's going to be sealed away. So some cool parts about this coin, basically you can see here, there's the date right beneath it, that symbol right there. Let's see if we can kind of zoom in on it. That symbol is actually St. Gaudens' signature, his mark, his initials, it looks like. And so it's pretty neat. The backstory of this coin, right, is like, this is all like, Teddy Roosevelt, I guess, the barber coinage, right, which, everyone knows is just like ugly as heck. And all the coins basically from about, 1840 onward were like pretty ugly. And so, St. Gaudens, who had, promised he would never work for the mint ever again after having some bad falling out with them, Teddy Roosevelt basically asked him to make some designs for some coinage, based off of, Roman and, antiquity. He wanted to, have art that was representative of like Grecian and Grecan and Roman history, that kind of stuff. And so St. Gaudens went and, produced an epic, super high relief. During this time he was dying of some kind of cancer, and essentially, without Teddy Roosevelt, this coin never would have been made, and without St. Gaudens, but also, as it turns out, Barber, who was responsible for all the Barber coinage. So what happened is that St. Gaudens studio produced these like crazy dies, and they made like 20 of them in like hyper high relief, and what that was like impossible to strike. They were saying it was like 12 strikes in order to get that level of relief. You can kind of see it's pretty low relief. And so what happened is St. Gaudens died, and then Barber actually took the coin, as well as some people at his studio, took the coin and redesigned it quite significantly. So, they made a kind of medium relief and then like a low relief, and the low relief is what we ended up seeing here. And tweaked some things, actually mostly for the negative. I don't know too much about what exactly he tweaked besides the relief, but yeah, so when they came out with the coins in 1927, when they were first actually struck and minted, they didn't have this in God We Trust. And of course they had, it was 1907, so there was two less stars here and here. And so what happened is I guess St. Gaudens thought it messed up the composition. He didn't want any of that. He just wanted this like sun and the rays going beyond the beautiful eagle, which I think is absolutely was the right way to go. And evidently, though, like everyone freaked out about it, and Congress passed a law that said, like, you can't, you have to have "In God We Trust" on these coins, which is kind of silly, but that's the way things are. And so actually, though, what's interesting is that in the 1907, 1908 mintage, the no motto is the more common of the coins. So 1908 with the motto is actually a much rarer variety. And so if you see here on the side, you'll actually see something really cool about this coin, which is that it says, here we go, E, kind of a weird E, star, pluribus, star, unum, from many, one, the motto. And then the rest is stars. Here's something interesting. See right there? That seam? There's one on the other side as well. Where'd it go? There it is. Right there. I believe. Yep, that's it. And what that is basically the die. It came in on two halves and went, kind of like on each side. Really interesting. So side stamped, one of the only ones ever, which is pretty cool. And so, just I love this coin. A lot of people say it was like, the most beautiful coin ever minted, and I definitely agree. Everyone loves the front, with this beautiful walking liberty, this little building, but I actually prefer the back. And the reason I prefer the back is because, these eagles, every eagle on coinage is just like always doing weird stuff. It's like facing you, like holding a bush or like, branches of stuff, or like it's just doing weird things, or like eating a snake, with Mexican money. But like, this is exactly what an eagle would actually be doing, which is like flying, right? And he did a really great job, like keeping that beautiful pose, and the composition is just perfect. I think I'm going to go back to the coin store and buy actually the no motto one. The no motto one is definitely way cooler. So yeah, I got a 1927. It's not a D or anything special like that, just the regular mintage. In 1933, they confiscated a lot of these things. Most of these just sat in bank vaults because, it was a pretty big coin. Back then it was worth, I don't even know, $20 was worth the equivalent of like, I don't know, a couple $100, $1,000 today. And so these just kind of sat in bank vaults and were used for like international transfers. And so in 1933, when all gold coinage and gold in public hands was melted down, and in the banks was melted down, as we left the gold standard, a lot of these coins were destroyed. So if you actually look at the mintages that are listed, that's not actually representative of the rarity of the coin. It actually has more to do with which ones were destroyed and which ones were in like bank vaults in Europe and stuff. So oftentimes a lot of the earlier coins are actually much more common. In fact, like 1927 is really the last year that you have a really common coin. 1928, 1929, and especially the 30s, all much less common because they had a lot less opportunity to circulate. In fact, the 1933 coin, there's only one of them that ever was legally existed. It belonged to King Farouk. It was actually exported legally through a snafu to King Farouk of Egypt. And when it got back to the United States, there was some litigation, and they determined that, yeah, they actually had exported it legally. And when it was sold at auction, evidently, they had to pay $20 to the U.S. government, as well as the actual total price of the coin was split, half between the government and half between the dealer. But the $20 was spent to actually monetize the single coin, 1933 coin, that actually is technically considered U.S. currency. And so, well, I think this will be the last time you touch it, last time we touch it. I'm going to send this away, get it graded. I hope it's an MS63 and not an MS62. MS63 is when you really start getting better value out of it beyond just, the bullion plus like a small premium. And so, here, let's see how she sounds when you flip it. Heads or tails? Jen, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails. One last look. Oh yeah, they didn't redesign all these stars. They didn't redesign them. They just like added 2 stars. That's why it looks a little like funny. But still, the most beautiful coin ever made. I am so stoked to own one. I've wanted one my whole life. Keep dropping it for some reason. Don't understand that. It's a heavy coin. It falls out of your hands really easy. Look at that relief. Not very tall, but so cool. All right. Off to the grading service, never to be touched again.